Backfire Blake is living up to her name. Hello, my fam. It is Perez, the queen of all media, the original influencer, and your number one source for everything It Ends With Us saga. Earlier this month, lawyers for Subpoena Serena filed subpoenas against the Googs, the Talkie Tick, and Elon Musk's platform. They went after, overwhelmingly, female creators. Women who have shared opinions that have been critical of Lady Antebellum. Thankfully, many of these creators chose not to retain legal counsel, and this week, multiple ones filed motions to quash Miss Make-Believe Magnolia's subpoena. They weren't subpoenaed directly, instead the service providers were. The clowncore fashion icon's legal team was trying to connect the dots that Justin Baldoni's team was paying these content creators to engage in a smear and retaliation campaign against this poor victim. Nope. They all denied it. And in a letter to the judge earlier this month, Blackface Blake's legal team said that they were singling out these creators because of what Justin Baldoni's crisis PR expert revealed in her declarations. Well, those declarations have been unsealed this week, and 99% of the content creators who were targets of these tech subpoenas, none of them were mentioned by Melissa Nathan and her company, Tag. Oh, we didn't lie. We just, misrepresented, perhaps? And it was glorious. In these multiple motions to quash this week, these women bravely, powerfully, loudly told the judge every dirty detail that she and her lawyers have been doing. And it's now for public consumption. It is on the docket for the record, for posterity. And that got me thinking too. Her legal team is making a lot of money off of her, but Ezra's firm, Mikey's firm, all of the lawyers, I think they're suffering severe reputational damage. Especially because minutes ago, they just submitted a letter to the judge with their tail shoved between their legs. We're not going to say we're sorry, but we're going to do an about face. And they have just withdrawn the subpoena from 5 of the creators that were affected. But this is so gross. The explanation you have to hear. Dated today, they say, "Dear Judge Lyman, plaintiff Blake Lively writes in response to the motions to quash as to specific portions of Miss Lively's July 3rd, 2025 document subpoena to the Googs, doing business as the YT, because they wanted the tube info for these creators, including banking and credit card information." Back to the letter. Document subpoena to the Googs, doing business as the YT, as to third parties Lauren Nady, Ashley Brianna Eve, Mackenzie Folks, and Cassidy O'Connell, and Miss Lively's July 3rd, 2025 document subpoena to X Corp, as to third party Leanne Newton, the X subpoena together with the Googs subpoena, the subpoenas collectively third parties, based on third parties' representations made in meet and confers, public statements, and or information provided in their moving papers. There is no further information required from the subpoenas as to these specific third parties at this time. It should be noted that my subpoena is still in play, and I am finalizing my motion to quash. But spoiler alert, I was not paid by Team Baldoni to smear her. In fact, I've called out Team Baldoni repeatedly. Every time I think they get something wrong, I'm not afraid to say it. I'm not Team Baldoni. I'm not Team her either. I am Team the truth. No one has paid me and no one has influenced me. I have shared my opinions, reacting in real time to what I see. For the record. Back to her letter. Miss Lively has therefore withdrawn the subpoenas as to them. Accordingly, Miss Lively requests that the court deny the third party's motions to quash as moot, because she voluntarily withdrew her sham subpoenas. Fishing expedition. Improper subpoenas. But they double down, saying to the judge, as the court knows, a core component of Miss Lively's claims center on the Wayfarer defendant's digital media smear campaign, which sought to manipulate the media landscape against her using untraceable sources to paint Miss Lively as the aggressor instead of the victim. The Wayfarer defendants have recently taken to mocking Miss Lively's reference to an untraceable digital campaign, claiming that such a notion defies common sense. As they are well aware, the term untraceable was coined by defendant Melissa Nathan in discussing the blueprint of the Wayfarer party's retaliatory plan. Miss Lively's subpoenas were one part of the discovery process aimed at gathering information to link the Wayfarer party's activities to sources through the YT and the Icky's content creator accounts. Miss Lively's counsel has met and conferred with various individuals whose account information is the subject of the subpoenas, including the third parties who have filed motions to quash and, as set forth above, has determined to withdraw the subpoenas as to them. Miss Lively's counsel has advised the Googs and the Eckies that the subpoenas are withdrawn as to each of the following social media handles identified by the third parties. Lethal Lauren 904, Ashley Brianna Eve, Existing to Thrive, Cassidy OC, and Kiara Jade 2001. Miss Lively's counsel has provided each of the third parties a copy of such withdrawal, with the exception of Cassidy O'Connell, who moved under a pseudonym and has not provided a service email or other contact information. Given the subpoenas have been withdrawn as to each of the third parties who moved, plaintiff respectfully requests that each of their respective motions to quash be denied as moot in their entirety. However, in a footnote, the self-appointed fashionista says, while almost all of the third parties' requests to quash the subpoenas on behalf of not only themselves, but also other unspecified individuals in the subpoenas, these third parties lack standing to do so. Accordingly, the court should deny the motions in their entirety, including to the extent they seek relief beyond the individual movement. Well, some of these women have spoken out. Leanne Newton took to her X account and said, Blake Lively has withdrawn her subpoena for my data. For the record, I never met with the lawyers and have not been asked for anything. I simply got an email letting me know they were withdrawing and had notified Ickies. Astrology with Janessa, yes, an astrology account, who was talking about this case with relation to astrology. Hers was also withdrawn, and she says, correcting assumptions. It has come to my attention that since my latest video explaining that her subpoena was withdrawn, some people are assuming that I will stop covering the Lively Baldoni case. I have not said that and would appreciate you correcting that assumption if you encounter it. Also, there were no conditions presented to me as part of the subpoena being withdrawn. Thank you. Lethal Lauren says, Blake Lively's attorneys notified me that they are withdrawing the subpoena for data related to my YT account. This was a baseless intimidation tactic, one that would not have worked because I knew I was telling the truth. Ooh! I will be consulting with an attorney to find out if pursuing a protective order is still an option, as included in my motion, to prevent Blake Lively from further using the courts to intimidate those with dissenting opinions. Now, Ashley Brianna Eve also is speaking out. She says, while the subpoenas themselves haven't been withdrawn, meaning the YT, the parent company, the Googs, the Eckies, the Talkie Ticks still have the subpoenas, and some creators are still subject to that. Ashley Brianna Eve says, while the subpoenas themselves haven't been withdrawn, it is nice to see Ezra has withdrawn a handful of them. I have a lot to say, but sticking to my weekend off to relax, I need it. Me too, but here I am working hard. Let me repeat one more time. As I will state in my motion to quash, I have not been paid by Baldoni or the Wayfarer parties or anyone to talk about this case and to have the opinions that I do. And all the opinions that I have were not influenced by anybody. They were influenced by the court filings. They were influenced by the facts, receipts, proof, timeline that I saw with my own eyes. And you know what else I saw today? The most heartfelt and beautiful post from a friend of Justin Baldoni's. This was important to share and for you to hear this. Miranda Davis is a choreographer, a director, a professor, a mom, and she has worked with Justin Baldoni in the past. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God, I just remembered something. Oh my God. This show, oh my God. A few years ago, there was this show called My Last Days about people who were terminal and their last days. And Justin Baldoni was a part of that. He was both on camera and behind the scenes involved as well. And I totally forgot about that until now. I watched those shows. They were on the YT. They were so powerful. Well, Miranda Davis worked with Justin Baldoni on My Last Days. And if the Googs is to be believed, they also worked together on this project called Clouds. And today, just a little bit ago, she took to her social media to say the following. Miranda Davis says, I have lived most of my life as both a survivor and an advocate. I've championed stories of women and girls who've been silenced, shamed, and dismissed because I've been one of them. I know what it costs to come forward, and I also know what it costs for someone to be falsely accused. What I never expected was to find myself here at the painful crossroads of both those truths. Almost a decade ago, Justin Baldoni entered my life in a way that can only be described as divine intervention. We were born just 9 days apart on opposite coasts, two souls orbiting until the universe decided it was overdue. At 32, an Instagram DM from him expressing interest in my life's story marked the beginning of one of the most sacred relationships in my life. Justin didn't just show up to shoot a documentary, he stayed. He became the big brother I had long prayed for as a child, the one who shielded me when I didn't know how to shield myself, who reminded me through actions, not words, that I was worthy of joy and protection. In my darkest hours, it was his voice that led me to light, his arms where I safely collapsed, and his belief when I forgot how to believe in anything at all. He didn't just love me. He led me to everything and everyone that healed me. And then he stood valiantly in front of me while I faced it all, sword in hand, willing to slay any dragon that threatened to derail my peace. When I say that the claims being made against him are not true, I say it not just as a woman or a survivor, but as someone who was there. I've spent a lifetime protecting survivors, and I always will, but I will not betray the truth to appease a narrative. I understand that people are capable of complexity and dualities, that someone can be light to one and bring irrecoverable harm to another. But that is not the truth in this case. Not based on assumption or loyalty, based on vision. I don't believe he's innocent. I know he is. I remember what I saw. I remember what I heard. I remember and know what I painfully lived and continue to live alongside him. What I've known in Justin consistently across years is safety. Soul deep, unwavering safety. The kind that doesn't just make you feel protected in a moment, but reteaches your nervous system what it means to be safe in the world. I've never known someone more generous with their love and resources. I could spend a lifetime listing everything he's done for myself and others publicly, and far more so privately. He has poured out from a heart that never asks for anything in return. He is a refuge, a compass, a constant, goodness personified. And I will protect that truth, sword wielded, with everything in me until the end of time. To the survivors reading this, I am still you. And because I am you, I know that protecting truth, even when it goes against the grain, is the deepest way to protect us. What sets us back is weaponizing trauma and making justice harder to recognize for those who truly need it. I will not allow a cause that has saved so many to be used as a tool for destruction. I will always protect survivors, and I will protect the truth. Both can be true. They must be. False accusations don't empower women. They endanger them. They discredit the voices we've fought for decades to uplift. Our strength in surviving lies not in blind belief, but in brave, clear-eyed truth. We don't need to believe everyone to believe those who need us most. So let me be crystal clear. I stand with Justin Baldoni, unequivocally, unapologetically, publicly, privately, entirely. Thank you to those who have supported my big brother, no air quotes here, his beautiful wife, children, family, and everyone who loves him over the excruciatingly difficult last year. It's meant more than words can adequately convey and is felt deeply on every level. In truth, oh shoot, sorry, I got her name wrong. Miranda Davis. Did I say Miranda? I'm sorry. Miranda Davis. Y'all, I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I've been working on my motion to quash so much. Miranda Davis. Miranda Davis. Now listen, this is why I'm Team the Truth. That's all very sweet, but was she on set every day? I love this full throat defense, but I don't know. I have opinions and beliefs, but I don't know. That's why I hope this does make it to trial and is not settled at the last minute, which I think may happen. And probably should happen, because there's a possibility that both sides could win or lose. Although, at this point, the Van Zandt, shamtastic, shameful, she has more to lose by settling. If Baldoni settles at this point, it almost doesn't matter. He's already won where it matters the most, in the court of public opinion. And while this statement is beautiful, I am happy that she shared it, even if she doesn't know 100% for sure that all of the allegations are not true. Because also, where's Gina Rodriguez? Where are so many of the people that have worked with Justin Baldoni in the past? They've remained silent. But Marinda has not. So, cheers to her. I'm a loyal one. I love supporting people that you love. And it's clear that Justin Baldoni had such a positive impact on this woman. And it's nice that all of the women who were subpoenaed by Subpoena Serena this week, who filed their motions to quash, are celebrating this weekend. You all put in the work and you deserve it. I'm going back to work now and hope to celebrate with you all. Until then, my friend, let's discuss everything in the comments section.